Hello everyone, my name is Notepad and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working on Cruelty Squad some more. The Physical Sensation Edition. And you may be wondering, Notepad, why is why is this so late at night? And the answer really does boil down to because I wasn't feeling too hot, so I slept for like 2 hours. And that does mean I pretty much started about 15 minutes ago of waking up and being alive. So yeah, I got a lot of shit I need to do today. I got like 2 hours and Wednesday, so that's fine. Today's just been long. It's been long and tiring. It's been gray outside. It's just been a lot of bleh. So here I am. Ask when the last curious case in 4chan is going to get into YouTube. The last one should be uploaded by this Saturday. Yeah, this Saturday everything should be up. I should get the Necropole one up. I didn't get that because my computer was technically offline, so I'll probably get that one up here soon. That one will probably go up on Thursday or tomorrow, I guess. Stop lying, you've just been morbid. Yeah, don't worry, I'm morbid out. You don't understand. It's Morbin time, everybody. I'm secretly Michael Morbius maxing. You'll never understand. But yeah, no, that it'll get out here by this weekend, because this weekend we have to do the Chaos stream, which I haven't had time, and I just forgotten to go over all the games. So I gotta do that tonight. And I gotta get ready for the Power Ranger stuff tomorrow. I'm ready for the Power Rangers adventures. I'm ready, and it's gonna make me feel really sad because I have the controversial one What is the chaos one about? Let's see. Well, where is it? Do I have my notes? Let's see. I don't have my notes, I don't think. Let me just open up everything properly. We go to this. The ones we're going to be doing is Never Going Home, Slayers by Gilla, Kuro, which is a Asian horror game, Mythenders, which is Edge, but funny Edge, Crescent Moon, which seems to be so pastel cutesy it almost hurts, Quest, which is something important, and a game called Lightning War, which has haunted me for literal months, and then I've randomly found it, so I get to do the tiny gun game, and I'm excited. Literally, it's just random shit in my folder. There's no rhyme or reason for like what it actually is. It's just chaos. But that's what was voted on, and after that, I get to do the next round of voting, which I'm ready. I'm ready for it. See, this is the beautiful thing is, after Cruelty Squad, after this game is done, I get to spend probably a week trying to unfuck Monster Girl Adventures. It's gonna be great. Though I will say, I'm probably gonna take off like a week in the middle of June, just to do me and maybe watch some movies and stuff. Do another media week just to get more ideas, because I like doing that. But yeah, we're working on Cruelty Squad, the Physical Sensation Edition. So, last time we got through all the stocks to achieve true financial nirvana. I never got around to actually writing them all out, but that won't take too long. And which led to the day in the life the phase system. We have Cruelty Squad HQ, we have the mission briefing, we have the mission himself, and finally immersive actions. Now, the final major set of things we need to do is we'll finish the mission in Detox, and i.e. the combat system. This is what we're going to have to finish up now. After this is where we get to do biocybertronics and weapons and armor. And, luckily, didn't mean to hit that one. Luckily, I did write everything down. These are all the basic weapons and basic implants. There will probably be more. I'm aiming for about 10 of most of them, about 2 more body ones. Again, just to kind of get a good amount of each for all of them. Some more kind of odder ones and weird ones, and a few new guns. Not many new ones, because sometimes there's only so much you can really do, because this is actually a very extensive, let's just say, extensive amount of guns. So, can you give a short see ya, brother. Can you give a short summary of how stocks work? Yes, I can give a short summary on how stocks work. So, effectively, there are multiple kinds of stocks. The most common one are corporate stocks. And you invest in a corporate stock. Let's say something we'll use Cruelty Squad is worth $100 per stock. You put $100 down, you're going to get 1 Cruelty Squad stock. 111. At the end of every mission, you're going to roll a D5. And luckily, D5 can be represented with an actual dice. You're going to roll that D5 and you're going to see what it is. I rolled an 8. That means I rolled a 4. Yeah. Since I rolled an 8, I rolled technically a 4, and that is over the center, because it's the center of D5 is 3. Actually, yeah, it would be 3. But since I rolled a 4, it's going to increase by 1. Now, Obviously, that's a safe stock. That's kind of like whatever your risk value is. The riskier the stock, the higher chance of it increasing rapidly. The lower risk the stock, the more consistent it's going to be. More consistent raises, more consistent losses. Now, the secret to huge success is that you may also have something that is like D53, which obviously is going to increase more rapidly. So corporate stocks are your pretty much standard stocks, the best way to kind of word it. Fish stocks, on the other hand, are just static. However, you have to catch the fish. Catching fish is hard. You need to actually learn how to catch fish. If you don't have the skill for catching fish or the proper equipment for catching fish, you will not catch fish. So, yeah, try to find that in the world. Which leads to organ stocks. Organ stocks require you, yes, you, to successfully harvest organs. Now, the big gimmick behind them is that they don't raise or fall in price naturally. What they do is they are judged entirely by supply. So, for example, a kidney has a D11 supply dice. And if you were to sell 5 kidneys right now, you'd gain $200 per kidney. However, you would roll 5d11 and reduce it by that amount. You've saturated the market. At the end of the mission, with no kidneys being sold, it increases by whatever the maximum of the supply die, so $11. So that seems a little bit complicated. Don't flood the market with organs. Or wait. Always wait. It's funnier that way. Agent stocks allow you to invest in your friends to steal a portion of their income. Yes, is there really other way? No, you're worth exactly $77,000. Like, you have 11 shares of $7,000. And you take, not 10%, 0.09% of their total earnings. Which leads to meta stocks, which are kind of how you level up in a way. You can increase your share value, increase your qualifications, just buy things that you want, open a personal savings account, own property, buy vacation days, or just straight up like try to get promoted. Such as, having a agent, becoming a heavy agent or a professional assassin. Don't invest in meta stocks. It's the worst thing you could physically do. I will buy. Yes, that is not only encouraged, but it is a completely valid option to literally buy your friend all the value of your friends. And if you do buy all of their shares in them, you will get 100% of whatever they make because you've given them $77,000. This can definitely lead to a situation where you might own 5/11ths of somebody and someone else might own 6/11ths of someone. That's the amusing part, and which is totally what you should do. Now, you are encouraged to like rebuy your bodily autonomy, because hey, maybe buying and selling human beings isn't on your soul isn't the best idea. However, who cares? Money is money. Time is money, friend. Yeah, but so this is kind of the main, I wouldn't say the main gimmick, but kind of the amusing, one of the more amusing parts is like the extensive stock market system. Just to be like, yeah, invest in your friends by buying them. Literally just buy out your friends. Also, here, the secret to huge success is half of these don't mean anything. Most of these do not mean anything. And like increasing your share value by 1,000 is literally you become worth $88,000, $99,000, $110,000. That's literally all this does. You can spend an absurd amount of money trying to increase your value so your friends don't buy parts of your soul. Future is dark. My neighbor bought out my cock. All I'm saying is you shouldn't have put it up for market. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, like, let's see. All of these are technically useless. They don't do anything direct. That's the amusing part, though. But but you also want to own property or buy your vacation days, or just get promoted. If you really want to be promoted to an agent professional, you totally can. It's gonna set you back $70,000. If someone buys your entirety, you can apply for becoming a professional agent. You will not be paid anymore. There is no benefit to doing this. Simply that you are better and you have a badge now. Which leads to the office positions as well, in which technically you can apply for. If you pay $250,000, you will get an A-level office position. You will be in a cubicle and you will enjoy yourself. If you pay $500,000, you get a slightly larger cubicle. Can I use Notecoin? I have 3.5 thousand note coins. No, sorry. Sorry, there will be no note coins. Jesus. I should do more things to I should just bump up the cost of all of my note coins. We're currently encountering inflation in the note coin market. I need to crash it with no survivors. Sell all note coin. Buy note pog coin. Very important. Oh god. Yes, we're going to be working on violent actions today. Cruelty Squad's main promise to our clients is to inflict cruelty upon the target. Such violence is often necessary. When a violent encounter breaks out, the situation has escalated past reasonable demands. It's up to all of the agents to successfully subdue their enemies and continue the mission. How do I want to do this? When violence occurs, the alert level, the alert level of the area increases by one step, and the agents and relevant enemies are transported to the battle zone. Actually, no. What would be the You want to make sure that it sounds as inhuman as possible. Oh god. Reject humanity. Embrace hyperviolence. So, when violence occurs, by one step in the agents and relevant enemies are transported to the, I don't want to call it just the battle map. That doesn't sound. I know what we can call it. The violent zone. Translated to the violence zone. Let's actually, there would be a seven part abstract location, which the agents will designate where they stand. Now, this is where things started getting a little bit interesting, because this is currently the only map I have of it so far. So we're going to draw a circle. And we're going to draw 1, 2, 3. Actually, that's terrible. We want to draw 1, like 2, 3. That doesn't look good. There we go. Because the entire idea is that's supposed to look like a flower. And if you're here, you can get shot by everybody. Actually, I know what we can call it. We need to find something. Language of flowers. Wait, language of flowers. Violence. Flowers that symbolize cruelty. The trigalia. That doesn't look like anything I need. Well, actually, wait. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, actually, let's. So we do 1. No, we ascertain the circle. We do. This is the center. We do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these can always reach each other. These can reach each other. Because if we're doing this correctly, this would be 1. This would be 1. This would be 1. This. Something like this, with this right dead center being the center. So it's also the flowers that symbolize cruelty. A Mexican shell flower. It is already a pain to touch grass, my friend. My brother in Christ. It is always difficult to touch grass. You wish for me to see flowers now? What do you want? To the Tigridia. See what I can do now. Now, so here's Abraxas. So Abraxas is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because this is the initial bit, is that you're supposed to emulate Abraxas. With all the flower, with the, we'll see, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. With this being what the battle map's supposed to look like initially. But we cut that, we do it a little bit more mystical. We do use a language of flowers, so it's more. So more like this, but you can always target these locations from the center. So, okay, that gives the center a little bit more context. That gives the center a little bit more stuff to do, because if you have it in the center there, the center can hit locations that you may not be able to, but you're presenting yourself to other locations as well. You can always get targeted in the center, but at the center you can also target everybody else. What the hell? We can do this. This is gonna be stupid, but I like stupid things. Also, I'll have you know that I immediately forgot the name already. Because I am literally... Why is Marigolds this way? Okay, why... No, fuck that. No, we're not doing that. We're using the funny one. We're using the funny flower. A to Z flowers, the ultimate flower resource, said that Tigridia is the absolute most terrifying thing. When violence occurs, the alert level of the area transferred to the Tigridia zone. 7-part abstract location, which the agents will designate where they stand as they struggle against the enemy. Ow. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm still sleepy. Alright, let's see. The agent's relevant enemies are transported to the Tigridia zone, a 7-part abstract location which the agents will designate where they stand as they struggle against the enemy. The Tigridia zone is an abstract location where cruelty and violence reign supreme. In a more technical sense, it's the current location of the battle. Being represented to you, the agent. Okay, so the zone is split. The Tigridia zone is split up into six petals. 6 petals and the core. The core can 6 petals and the core. How do we want to word this? Agents weapons may only be able to target certain areas due to its range, being one to actually, so we might need to. I'm going to have to draw this out, because if I don't draw this out, it's not going to make any goddamn sense. So yes, paint.net is out. We are ready to game, kids. The tiger flower. Don't worry, you don't need to see the tiger flower, Manly. I already know that you're the real tiger. Hey everyone, do you know that Russians have tigers? Very fascinating. Aggression will allow. I don't know if you guys know this, but Russian tigers, very fascinating. And also, Manly, I don't think you should be as aggressive as you are. You're kind of killing the mood here. It's called good vibes, Manly. I would offer you a Snickers, but it's not hasn't been on the ground. For those who don't know, my boy Manly over here, my good friend, my comrade in arms, man who has been in many videos inadvertently and has assisted in the channel more than a few times. Have decided to get very drunk one night, as most Eastern Europeans do, and unfortunately, he did consume he did consume trash nuggets. It was a very odd situation. He told us about it. Felt very sad initially, but then he decided to tell us that he was not repentant for it, which I thought was kind of odd. Now he's getting mad in chat right now, saying, "Oh, they were on the table, but they weren't in the trash." I think he's just coping, everybody. I think he's just coping. I think it's a sad thing. I think he's entered the Copacabana. It's very, very sad. Everyone, let's pour one out for Manly so he may not find more trash nuggies. Very sad. He was a real gamer. Let's do. So these can connect to one another. You can always walk from the inner flower to the inner flowers. Now I'm feeling that he's a little bit miffed that I told the story very accurately, by the way. This came from the man himself. I simply am recounting it as a bard does many stories. He's being very sad. He's being very mad that this isn't like, oh, that isn't accurate. They were on the table. That looks like the Kabbalah. You don't say. See, I'm doing something right then. See, that's even better. There we go. Like... yeah, no, this sounds about right. I am okay with this. This is as strange as it needs to be. So let's... I'm gonna put a dashed line there. We gotta make sure everyone understands what these are. So this is going to be sight lines. And then we do right here, and then we... there we are. And then we put this like right there, the tree of life, which is also the flower of cruelty, which is perfect. Okay, go away, handbook. I don't need you right now. Oy vey, Goyim. You don't understand. Okay, so we put that there. What I'm going to do here is that we're going to just make sure this, okay. We're going to save this. We're going to save it to our desktop. We're going to call it the cab of flour. We'll call it the cab of flour. And then we'll close that out because we don't need it anymore. Which then we open up the notepad document. We open up notepad 2 again. We close this. We make it a little bit smaller. And being represented to you, the agent. Okay, let's see. The Triganian zone is abstract location. Cruelty and violence reign supreme. In a more technical sense, it's the current location of battle being represented to you, the agent. The three locations being represented are the inner. Actually, represented is the center, inner flower, and outer flower. Depending on the range, how do I want to word this? Okay. The center can always walk to the inner flower, to the inner flowers, which can access two of the outer flowers. Which can access two of the outer flowers. The flower. Okay, so you can always walk between the lines. However, while in the center, you are able to successfully target the outer flowers as if they were directly next to them. As if they were in the next area, in the next section over. So, let's see, the outer flowers, you were able to target the outer flowers if they were. So, in very simplistic terms, if I'm standing in, let's say, this section right here, this part of the inner flower, I cannot target this person right here in the outer flower unless I have a range 2 weapon, 1, 2. So I need pretty much a long-range weapon to target them. If I'm in this outer flower, to target someone here is 1, 2, because I need another long-range weapon. It's kind of one of those things, but if I'm in the center, this is 1, 1, 1. But if I want to, from the center, if I want to reach the outer flower, what I need to do is go to the inner flower, then move to the outer flower. Now, mind you, this is completely abstract. What this actually is something a little bit more which is a little bit easier to understand. So let's take, for example, our basic mission we've been kind of talking about. We'll call it the Manor Grounds. Oh no, a battle is broken out. We need to go to the Manor Grounds. We're fighting. The, quote, center may literally be just in an open area in the, actually a raised platform. Let's see, a raised platform in the hedge maze. Raised platform in the hedge maze. However, let's say one outer flower, an outer flower may be, a gazebo. A gazebo. Inner flower may be the hedge maze. The twisting maze. So it's kind of like one of those ideas where, if you have a long range weapon, you can just start pouring into it. It's a little bit more, it's a little bit easier to do that. But to reach the gazebo, you have to go through the maze. To go to the other location, you kind of have to cross through these different locations. There's kind of a sense of what the goal here is, to have a sense of movement. this abstraction is something supposed to be a little bit strange, a little bit uncomfortable. Having a range 2 weapon does literally mean, as long as you can see it, you can shoot them. Now, if I want to be really specific, is you have to be an outer flower to hit anything target 2, but that would be a little bit cancerous. Yeah, so that's kind of the idea. This is abstract. So, as actually certain locations in the, actually what I should do is we do that. We select this as heading to the Tragediya zone. Oh Jesus, I have to do heading 4, don't I? Yeah, heading 4, we do Dorime. There we go. The Tragediya zone. Okay, certain locations. Depending on the battle, these locations can have additional effects on them, such as not being able to target them from certain directions, or having harmful effects should they be stepped on. Agents must carefully plan out engagements to maximize their ability to successfully overcome their enemies. Yeah, enemies. There we go. Which leads me to, we do heading 4, and it's how to inflict cruelty. So Demon Hunter has a go undercover as prostitutes arc, but how do the boys not get discovered as boys? Well, Iron, I'm going to tell you all a secret. All I say is, if nobody comments on it, nobody's going to think about it. Hello. Always remember that, kids. If nobody... Once you're in that situation, you look at it, you're like, fuck it. It's Japan. We ain't gotta make sense. Hey, all I know is that the true masters of infiltrating things that you really shouldn't infiltrate are the Tiedemann squads. Have no fear. It's Tiedemann. What are you doing? Asagi, what are you doing? Asagi, what are you doing? We don't need to go undercover in the brothel. What are you doing? Oh no. Why does this always go wrong? Let's do a little bit of an exploration. Okay, this is gonna be me, like, action Tiedemann. Not Tiananmen. Tiedemann. Like, it's like... Oh, wait, did I spell it wrong? Tiedemann. Gotcha elements. Let's see. Action time. RPG. No, there is no actual TTRPG for the Tiedemann franchise. You know what? Let's play an additional game. Let's play something. Let's do Lilithsoft. Yeah, this is the company that does all this. Let's see. See, what I can do is, oh Jesus, is I can make a broad appeal to Lilithsoft, being like, Lilithsoft, I, as a silly American, may I please give me the rights to make the official Time Anim game. I will be the one to do it. You'd be amazed. Let's see. How to inflict cruelty. Violence is like every other action. Incredibly easy to resolve. Actually, simple to do, hard to master. Simple to do, but even easier to desensitize yourself to. Let's see, but even easier to desensitize yourself to. When each enemy will have a DD score will have a difficulty dice assigned to them, reflecting how easy or hard it is to hit them. Let's see how easy or hard it is to hit them. Actually, to inflict damage on them. Let's see how easy or hard it is to inflict damage on them. If the agent is successful in striking an opponent, striking an enemy. Let's see. If an agent is successful in striking an enemy, they will deal damage based on their weapon. They'll deal based on their weapon. Not exactly the most complicated thing in the world. That's pretty much it. Actually, what we should do. Violence is like every other action, simple to do, but easier to sensitize yourself to. Each enemy will have a DD assigned to them. Actually, not how to inflict cruelty, we'll do when to inflict cruelty. And then we will add when the battle kicks off, the agent and enemies. The agent and enemies check their relevance. Yeah, check their relevance. How do I want to do this? Okay, I know what we can do. Mary, Killfuck, Yellow Boy, Pig Boy, Scarface. None of them. Ironside, you're going to be incredibly disappointed when you learn that I've watched like the first 6 episodes of Demon Slayer. I'm like, alright, and then immediately didn't watch it anymore. Yeah, I never even met the Yellow Boy or the Pig one. All I know of them are from memes. That's literally all I know about them from. There's no other reason. Here's the thing. People think I'm like Mr. Anime Man sometimes, but I don't think people quite realize how much I just don't. I have successfully convinced at least one of my friends that I know exactly what I'm talking about most of the time when it comes to other shows and things like that. I once convinced my friend that I knew the entirety of Dragon Ball Z lore. I had to learn. Like I had to learn the entirety about Dragon Ball Z lore simply because he wouldn't shut up about it with others, so I would have to be the one to engage with him about it. I learned the entirety of Dragon Ball Super lore. Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, I learned all of it. Simply to engage with him. He was an autist, and I loved it. There's a reason I can make Vegeta jokes. Which, by the way, Dragon Ball RPG, never going to happen. Never, ever. But what we can do is, when the battle kicks off, all agents compare their psychotronics. Psychotronics. When battle kicks off, all agents compare their psychotronics. And let's see, their psychotronic scores. Psychotronic scores. This determines. Actually, no. I know we can compare their nervous and psychotronics and psychotronics. Psychotronics grades. The agents with the highest grades. A equal 5, B equal 4, B equal 4, C equal 3, D equal 2, and F equals 0. The highest grades with the with the highest value of grades, I should say. The grade will act first in a descending order. Enemies have a set value in which they will act, often at once, together. Let's see. Enemies have a set value which they will act. They will act and target the agents. There we go. The battle kicks off. They'll compare their psychotronics. We love their psychotronic scores. When to inflict cruelty. How to inflict cruelty. Striking an enemy, they will deal damage based on their weapon. Let's see. All enemies fall into three categories. Flesh, armor, and chaos. Flesh enemies are unarmored and take full damage from all weapons. Take full damage from all weapons. If they take full damage from all weapons. Armor enemies wear complex battle armors, or are just insanely tough, or just insanely durable, or are just incredibly durable. They will take only. Let me see. They would take only. D3 damage from non-armor piercing weapons. And full damage from armor piercing weapons. Finally, chaos enemies will kill you. If they come into contact. Will kill you. Actually, we'll detonate. Let's see. Actually, chaos enemies take full damage from all weapons. Take full damage from all weapons. However, they may also may not take damage. Actually, no. Chaos enemy. Let's see. Finally, chaos enemies will take randomized damage. How do I want to do this? Finally, chaos enemies have a gimmick to defeat. Have a specific method to defeat them. Ignoring all damage from all sources, except their particular weakness. There we go. Enemies fall into 3 categories. Someone's pinging me. It's the merchant station. Godspeed. Godspeed, my friend. Twitter was a mistake. It's great. Really, the only good thing about Twitter I've learned is that occasionally I can go there and just hurt myself. It's kind of like a way to just guarantee that I am human, still a human being. It's man, I feel so good about myself as stab a knife into my kidney. I feel human again. Let's see. Let's see how to inflict cruelty. All enemies fall into 3 categories: flesh, armor, and chaos. Flesh enemies. Alright. Let's see how to have cruelty inflicted on you. Enemies, if you are within sight, if you are within range, will shoot at you. Will attack you with their weapon. Let's see, enemies, if they are within range, will attack you with their weapon. Or close into a location to successfully hit you. Let's see, enemies that are within it will successfully hit you. If they are within range and they are aiming at you, and they are within range and they are aiming at you, they will attack. You will roll against their DD. Actually, you will roll against their DD. If they are successful, they will hit you. If you fail, actually, roll against their DD. If you fail, roll against their DD. Actually, they will. The agent will roll. The enemy will roll a DD equal to the enemies. If they are successful, once the agent will roll will be equal to the enemies. If they are successful, If they are successful, they will avoid the damage. If they are not successful, they will take damage. So, what does this actually mean in the grand scheme of things? So, let's say, for example, we're going to make a very simple enemy. We're going to say Manor Security. Now, Manor Security is a D9. They're pretty well armed. They have a, we'll say a K&H like 40. K&H 40 auto. There. They have a gun, and this gun is going to do we'll say D11 damage. Actually, we'll be a little bit mean. We'll say going to be do D13 damage 4 times. So they're effectively going to roll 4. They'll say they're going to roll 4 D13. They're going to hit someone 4 times. That's effectively how this is going to work. Now, if they roll, now to hit them, you need to hit. You need to hit a 5 effectively. And if they need to hit you, you also need to hit a 5. That's what you're just going to roll that. That's the plan. Roll to avoid damage. It's very difficult to avoid damage sometimes. It turns out the whole Elon buyout. No shit, he's done this before. I'm not surprised. How far must a human fall before they're guaranteed to die? It kind of gets a little bit weird in that regard because of terminal velocity and just like how much you're allowed just to slap on the ground and like where you're landing. But like just some like grabbing someone, dropping them on a plane. Again, depending on kind of like how you land, that also affects like a plethora of factors. Usually I would say death kind of hits an exponential value at about 30 feet. Just because if you land poorly, you're going to break something minimum at that point. If you land poorly, you're going to kill yourself. At about 50, yeah, and pretty much anything higher than that, it starts getting a lot more dangerous. About 3 stories up. That's why I say that's kind of like the exponential point. Like, if you jump from a story 10 feet down, you might bang yourself up a little bit, but you probably aren't going to die unless you land like swan dive into concrete. However, it's one of those things like you also have people who like get out of airplanes and like survive like some insane, like what was the you have this woman who fell out of 33,333 feet. Yeah, I know. Yeah, like that, like it. That's why I say it's like it gets a little bit hard after a certain point to even judge. What about 5 stories onto your back? 5 stories onto your back. The problem with that at that point is that you're gonna hit your back, but it's gonna be your skull that's you're gonna hit it, and then your skull's gonna immediately slam into the back of it. And that's the dangerous part, is like your head, obviously. That's why they even say like, oh, jumping like straight down is also really bad because you're just limiting the actual amount of distance, like the actual amount of space, so everything gets shocked up. Like if you've ever jumped off like something before and you like just like land on your feet really thin, it's like, oh god, ow, like it kind of just sends a little shockwave up your legs. That's why. It's very bad. And the human body is an amazing thing. It is also not very well designed in some aspects. We need a firmware update, is what I'm saying. Where's the human body firmware update? If you're not successful, they will take damage. Actually, if an agent is not successful, they will take damage. Combat is by and large bad. If an agent's health reaches 0, their cortex bomb, their cortex, it would be their, yeah. The cortex implant begins to detonate. Let's see. Zero health, the cortex implant begins to count down. They have 5 seconds. They have 5 seconds until detonation. At the end of the combat, we'll do combat round, they will detonate. Dealing D99 damage to all enemies, to all characters in the same area as they are. Let's see, enemies will have set value, which these are split between, let's see, these are split between turns and rounds. A turn is an individual's set of action, while a round is the combination of every combatant's actions. How to inflict cruelty. Take 3 down, finally. All agents and enemies may perform one of the following actions when it is their turn. Which we're going to do. Control Shift 8. They can. This is really poorly formatted. Can people actually rotate their bodies while filing like they show in the movies? No, not usually. But the thing is, from what I've learned, is if you were a trained person, you can do stuff like that and you're not panicking. You can do stuff like that. However, 99% of regular human beings are flailing horribly if they're falling any amount of distance they don't plan on falling. Yeah, that's usually the thing. If you're falling, you probably are not having, like, you're probably not there for fun. Like, you're like, well, shit. Inflict violence. The agent targets an enemy within range. Which leads to maneuver. Agent moves to a adjacent part of the Tigridia zone. Moves to a part of the isn't part of the Tigridia zone from where they are. Let's see. So inflict violence. You're maneuvering. Other. The agent does something else. Does something else. That takes a small amount of time. Which leads to, let's see, so you're inflicting violence, you're maneuvering, you're doing something else. You are up trigger implant. Oh, let's see. Yeah, the agent triggers an implant they have. That's you. I want to use the appendix, or I want to do this. You're triggering an implant to do something. And that leads to... Really, that's it. Actually, I should say, no, that's pretty much it. Any amount of combatants can be located inside of a single section of the Tigridia zone. Yep, these are the 4 actions you can do. Nope. We want to. There we go. D99 damage, yeah. Hey, all I'm saying, actually, what I should technically, let's cortex implants. That shouldn't be D90. There we go. Because we want everyone to possibly die in that, including things like necromechs. So D999 is a little bit more appropriate. I want people who even have only meat to be just detonated by it, because I find it funny. Because if you have meat, you because the thing is, if you only have meat, fun fact, you have 500 health. Let's see, how to have cruelty inflicted on you. How to inflict cruelty, when to inflict cruelty. So let's see. We understand how to actually attack, what's actually going on here. We know how to move, we know how to trigger implants. We know what we have to roll here, which is going to lead to... Yeah, we should be good. So, we don't want to get, like, the big idea is we don't want to get into combat. Combat is bad. Time to let the party's guaranteed retard Chaozu himself. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to say that's like an actually like valid method, but yeah, that's a very valid thing to do. This does actually bring to the Holy D1. Which reminds me, I need to put in a section down here. Which is... State of being in you. In agent's state of being. State of being is the most important aspect of their current existence. There are four current states of being. There are 4 current states of being. We do that, and then because I am incredibly fucking lazy, what I can do state of being, number of deaths, and we do hope eradicated. eradicated. Health state, death. Actually, I should have to label this correctly. Death, number of deaths, NA. Health total, 50. Our four current states of being. Each of these states of being dictate the current worldview of the agent, which also impacts the descriptions given to them about the world around them. So we want to do, if an agent has humanity, do that with that. Then describe most situations normally. They can see, hear, and reason out most descriptions with ease. No, we do that. If an agent is a flesh automaton, then pull back on the descriptions. Pull back on the descriptions and details. Things slowly are becoming more and more imprecise. Let's think. Things slowly are becoming imprecise in description. Things are not simply told, but must be reasoned out through broad description. Actually, describing the target as a tall blonde man with wearing a striking white suit with a fancy hat. Tall blonde man. New broad description. Describing the target as a tall man wearing a white suit. And a hat. If the agent has power and misery, then they get barely any description about anything. Everything is basic and to the point, being next to useless as the agent struggles to even understand basic ideas that aren't conveyed in the most basic manner possible. Describing the target as a person. So if the agent has their hope eradicated, then give them hyper description that is both uncomfortable and revealing inhumanity in everything. This is disgusting. Uncomfortable. uncomfortable, and strangely enough, impossibly accurate. Describing the target as a tall blonde man. Let's see, tall silver blonde man with gangly limbs and eyes larger than normal, constantly flicking back and forth, looking back and forth as if looking for something. He wears a dazzling white suit that is about 2 sizes too large for him. Large for him, but is seemingly already filled with something that isn't him. On top of his head is a large hat. What would be a good types of hat? Let's see. Is a large flat top cap. That covers the poorly concealed stitching on the back of his head. There we go. From the TV, boys watching movies and eating Tenshinhan. Tenshinhan, no! Chaozu, no! Ow. Wow, thanks, Tian. There we go. So, yeah, kind of like the basic idea behind power, behind the various states of being, is that it's both a immediate effect of, hey, you have higher health, kind of representing the easier difficulty. However, it also kind of plays into the secondary factor of kind of the description. Humanity is your basic way of kind of viewing the world. Flesh automaton, things get a little bit more imprecise. The main issue being that you're not really viewing people as people anymore, because you aren't really feeling like a person anymore. Like, you're not quite right. You've died. That's kind of the big idea. You've died and come back to life. Are you really you, or are you just divine light severed? You were a flesh automaton powered by neurotransmitters. And that's kind of a perspective that the character is going to have the time to take. Which leads to power in misery mode, which is you've died so many times that you barely are human anymore and you don't feel human. So everything you see is very vague, very imprecise, and very not right. You don't read anymore in power and misery. You vaguely look at something and it says like, yeah, go this way. You're like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Like, you don't view things normally. You have this very basic understanding. All you know is you gotta kill that dude. And what the person is wearing clothes. Alright, we'll just gun down everyone who wears clothes. I'll hit the guy eventually. However, if you're in Hope Eradicated, which is you can only get in a very certain context, in a very certain way, you're getting hyper description. You're getting everything exactly how it is in the worst ways possible. Things are uncomfortable. Things don't look right. You have realized that you live in a nightmare and the only escape is you suffering. Because guess what? Your hope has been eradicated. You also have 50 fucking health. Yeah, that's kind of the amusing part with Hope Eradicated. And you're never going to get your Divine Light back unless you find a white orb. Unless you find a white orb, or you find a red orb. Which, these are the spheres. The white sphere restores your Divine Light or max health if they are, or you just get all your health back if you already have Divine Light. Black sphere has their head explode, but they enter Hope Eradicated. The red sphere is they take D99 damage immediately. If that agent has Hope Eradicated, they restore Divine Light, taking 0 damage. They can pretty much get their Divine Light if they are evil. If they have seen nightmares, they burn it away. Green sphere can either make you violently vomit, suffer toxic crisis as your system just dies, doesn't want to deal with it, or you restore all your health. Gold sphere gives you a lot of money, and if you touch it a second time, your head explodes, which leads to the D1 sphere, which the next agent has their next roll be D1, which is an automatic success. However, the next roll after that will be D1001. They will not succeed at D1001. Not to say you can't succeed at. At that point, I'm going to pain describing things that players have different states of being. That is going to be a kind of a thing. At that point, it's more along the lines of you give them very different contexts for things. Well, you might describe someone like, oh, hey, this guy's wearing a really nice suit. Something isn't quite right. This guy's wearing a really nice suit and he has a very fancy hat on. The guy in Power and Misery, you kind of look at him being this like, there's definitely a guy wearing clothes. You're pretty sure it's one of those guys over there. At least they keep pointing over there. You're like 99% sure. You feel like you should kill them. Like, just gun down everyone. And again, it's more about like context at that point and how they're viewing things to kind of get people in the headspace of it. When someone says, we have to look out for the guards, you can't really tell them where the guards are when they're sneaking through. You have to have literally someone possibly accompany them. Which, can you really spare 2 guys walking around heavily armed if one of them is pretty much just a meat slab? If you keep Chaozuing, yeah, again, it's supposed to be a little bit weird. That's kind of like the core idea. It's supposed to be a little bit weird and uncomfortable. Mostly when you see your friend who's died a few times, and he's still your friend, but he kind of doesn't look at you the same. He just kind of nods and smiles at you every now and again. And it's also one of the things you have to describe other people as, there's a bundle of flesh talking to you. You don't really understand why. Like, or hey, there's a person definitely talking to you. You think they know what you're talking about. They keep calling you your name if you think that's your name. You're not quite sure, and it's like, yes. Power, but the goal anyway would be that Power and Misery isn't something that is achieved easily. You're not supposed to get Power and Misery. That's kind of the big thing. Which leads to... Oh, I forgot about the most important aspect. How could I forget the most important aspect? How to die in agony. Agents die, often violently. An agent who dies in the field will automatically have their genetic recombinator trigger trigger at HQ. We'll have their genetic recombinator trigger, and within the next 5 minutes, a new you will pop out. A new you will be ready to go and deployed in the mission area. Having an agent die in the field is a small concern, taking only a bit of time for them to come back at the entrance of the location or someplace thematically appropriate. They have all of their starting equipment and tools, but they will have to pay the $500 recombinator cost immediately. They'll have to pay the $500 recombinator cost out of their successful mission. If they die too often and don't make any money, their team pays $1,000 each in late fees and the recombinator fee. Agents don't let their friends hog the recombinator. There we go. Always remember, friends don't let friends die. So when to inflict cruelty, how to inflict cruelty, how to have cruelty inflicted on you, how to die in agony. So we do this, everything somewhat works here. And what we get to do next is we do that. The Cruelty Squad Armory. Here at Cruelty Squad, we provide our agents with the most advanced and innovative weapons and armor to complete their missions. However, due to budgetary restrictions, most of these must be purchased as a license to successfully use on missions. Must be purchased licenses to successfully use on missions. When an agent purchases a license for a weapon or implant or biocybertronic implant, they are allowed to use it freely. They use it freely in the future. Remember, kids, buy your subscription to your guns. If you don't buy your subscriptions to your guns, we make no promises. Weapons of cruelty. So, here's our basic weapons. So how are we going to do this? We want to do this, and we want to, obviously, we want to have the damage. We want to have the damage type. And we want to have, wouldn't be notes, it would be, features. Parasonic D2 silenced pistol. We're going to have a damage of, we're going to say D13. The KNH R5 is going to have a damage of D5, but it's going to have a 3 at. So technically you can fire it 3 times in a single round. The Snoozefest Animal Control Pistol is going to have a damage as D0. Let's see, this is going to be flesh. Let's see, features, silenced weapon. License. License cost, yay! License cost, free. Actually, we're going to say it's going to cost you $500 to buy the Parasonic D2 silence pistol. It is free to get one of these. We'll put target will collapse. Will collapse in 15 seconds. Extendable baton. D, it's going to do D3 damage. Damage type, flesh, features, melee weapon. Actually, which reminds me, what I should do is put this over here and put range. D2 silence pistol is going to be 1. It's going to be 1. Snoozefest is going to be 1. Expendable baton is going to be 0. That means you must shoot at them within that range. The Balotelli Hypernova is going to do D15 damage. It's going to do flesh. It's going to be a shotgun. It's going to have a range of 0. Extendable baton is going to be free. $1,500. Riot pacifier is going to do DX damage. Damage type flesh. Features. Let's see. Melee weapon. Actually, no, we don't really need that. It's gonna be just gonna try to beat someone with it. Actually, we can do a melee weapon. Balotelli Hypernova shotgun. How do we want to do this? Do we want to put in ammunition? I don't really think putting ammunition is really going to save it, but I'll think on it. I can do it. I can put it in. The new safety M62. This is going to have damage. We'll say it's going to be damage 23. Going to do flesh damage, features, recoil. Actually, ricochet bullets, Range is going to be 1. The riot, which brings me to actually back to the riot pacifier, which is toxic gas, corrosive. Actually, no, it's corrosive gas if I remember correctly. Right. Harmful green gas, toxic gas. So it is toxic gas. Toxic. Let's see. Riot pass toxic gas. Deals D. Deals D. We'll do. Actually, we'll do D. Oh yeah, we'll do toxic gas deals D41 damage for anyone to anyone within the what did I end up fucking calling them? Zone. Within the zone. And this is going to have a range of 2, because you can just angle it if you feel like. This is going to, but it's going to put you back $3,000. New safety obviously isn't going to be very much. It's only going to cost you $800 to purchase a fucking revolver. The Minato M9. The Minato M9 is a fairly fast weapon, so we're probably going to want to. We'll do that like D9, but you can fire like 8 shots. You can fire like 6 shots at once. Actually, no. Can't do that. We gotta do 7 shots at once, which is only going to do flesh damage. Range of 1. License cost is going to put you back 2,500, which brings me to the KNH X20. Re-round burst. Yeah, come on. That's every Latin American has the ability to do that. Have you never seen them? Let's see. Flesh. We want to do D. We'll do that D11, but it's going to be a 3-shot burst because that's what it is. 3 shots. Bang, bang, bang. Actually, what we can probably do is like a 5-shot burst because this is fully automatic. Nice and easy to acquire. The Stern AWS 3000. Do you actually have? No, that's a sniper rifle. D93. This actually does armor damage for once. This is a scope. Because it is a full one. It has a range of 3, so it can pretty much hit anyone from anywhere. It is going to cost you $4,500, however. I should put in ammunition. We'll do it after I get all these. Security anti-armor device. That's going to be D321. Armored, explosive, hits all targets in the zone. Range is going to be 2. It's going to set you back about $6,000. Which brings it to the AMG. This is going to be we're going to say it's going to be D19. And we're going to do, it's going to have 12, it's going to have 11 shots that you can fire. It also does armor damage. That's going to have a range of 1, and it's going to put you back. It's going to put you back, let's say actually about $5,000. Precise Industries, AS-15. Fully automatic shotgun. So that's the fully auto shotgun. So that's going to do, if the Benelli Hypernova is doing D15, this one's going to do D17, have a 3-round burst. It's going to be able to do, does it do armor damage? No, it's not armor piercing. So since it's not armor piercing, it is entirely flesh based. If I can fucking write this properly. Flesh, this is a shotgun. Has a range of 0. And it's obviously going to cost you about $4,000. It's going to cost you about $5,000. Well, we're going to say about, actually, we're going to say $3,500. The Mauser is going to do D30. I'm going to do, actually, we'll say D21 damage. It's going to do flesh. It's going to be scoped. It's going to have a range of 3. And it's only going to put you back about, it's only going to put you back about $2,000. Pretty cheap for what you're getting. The MCR carbine. Trying to remember what all the guns are. Assault rifle. It is armor piercing. Okay. Is it 5-round burst? No. So it's going to do D7. It's going to do D7 damage. It's going to have a 5-round burst effectively. It's going to do armor damage. It's going to have a range of 1. It's going to set you back about 4,500, which puts it about on par with the Stern AWS. But it's for elite people who are special, and the Stern M17 is the one with a pretty decent. That's the 3-round burst. Let's see, actually. Okay. Actually, what we can do, you're gonna have a shorter range. You make that the gimmick with you. You can fire more shots at once. You, on the other hand, you're going to be a little bit more expensive just because you're the winner of the Advanced Rifle program, which leads to the Parasonic MP1 Nailer, which is only going to do we'll say D3 damage, but you can fire 12 shots at once. That's armor pierce, okay. It is armor piercing. Armored, and range is going to be 0, and it's going to set you back about 3. It's going to set you back about 475. That seems fair. Actually, let's reduce that down to 375. Well, maybe you should stop eating nuggies off the ground, Manly. Haha. Got him. Nah, I want to get the weapons done. I should actually... I need to add ammunition, don't I? Yeah, guess we're going to add ammunition. We're going to have to add ammunition to this. So we're going to have to do ammo. Do you actually list out the ammo? Yes, you do. Stern is 24 shots. You have 4 shots. Actually, the Stern, yeah, you got 4 shots of D93 damage. I think that's pretty fair. Spectacular dynamics. Tell me more about the MCR. The MCR carbine, 50. K&H. See, if I was a little bit more confident, I could give you a 45-90, 30-90, 30, 45. The Minato M9. The Minato M9 has a stupid amount. I remember that. The Minato M9. 25. Doesn't actually have as much as I remember. You only have 5 shots. I remember that. You have only 5 fucking shots. You only have like 4. You have 1 shot. Which leads to the Patelli Hypernova. 5. What? I haven't even streamed for 2 hours yet. Ugh. This may become a Notepad Must Die inadvertently, simply just because I want to, because it's in that weird situation where you don't, I don't actually have that much to do. The AMG is 150. Precise Industries Ace. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't actually have that much to do left on this. This is not a very complicated game. It's weird, but not complicated. And I think that's kind of like one of the... Okay, that brings all the ammo together. That brings all of the licenses together. What are we missing? I guess we can actually bring in... the Damien Scuss Blade, we'll do 9, we'll do an armored, and the features is, this is entirely melee, it has an NA range, has a range of 0 NA ammo, and it's gonna set you back. Actually, CSGO knife prices. Let's be sad. Let's be sad with each other. How much is some of these knives going for? Let's see. The Ursus knife, the stiletto knife. Ah, yes. The skeleton knife is going for 181. 1,081. The Damien Scuss Blade, just literally a fucking knife that you have. We can probably do, let's do experimental guns. Let's see, AR-15 Bullpup. Let's see. The Calzada Baya. There's this term got a 44. Call it the Siesta Storm. We'll call it the Siesta Storm 44. The Siesta Storm 44. It's going to do D. It's going to do D11 with a 4-round burst. It's only going to do flesh damage. Flesh damage. It's going to have a grand total ammo of 30. It's going to have 21 bullets in it. It's going to have a range of 1, and it's going to cost you a grand total of $1,900 to get it. The Siesta Storm is actually a sleepy gun. Actually, incredibly, actually, we had, there we go, silenced. The silenced weapon, because it's meant to be used while going to sleep. Let's see what other. Go Soviet Union. Is there anything funny in here that I could use? Ah, I know what we can do. D91, it's only going to do flesh. It's only going to have a single shot, and it's going to have a range of 3. Comes in many fun colors. It's going to put you back about $1,600. The Party Rocket Launcher, the PRL, the AR-15 bullpup. Yeah, let's see what weird anti-tank rifle. See, can we get some funny ones? We get some funny map. The boys anti-tank rifle. There we go. The lads anti-mech rifle. It's of course going to do D101 damage. It's mostly for armored targets. Requires a friend to carry. It's going to have 5 shots. It's going to have a range of 4. It's going to have a range of 3. So pretty much anywhere on the map, and it's going to cost you. It's going to set you back about we'll say $7,500. This is a game. This is a thing literally designed to take out necromechs, and necromechs are big scary things that will shred you. Let's see what some other. We need some more biological weird shit. Actually. When pulled, roll D. Roll D. We'll say roll D5. Roll D5. If roll DD5. Roll difficulty die 5. If the agent fails, it explodes in their hand. Dealing full damage. It's going to have 12 shots. It's going to have a range of 1, and it's going to cost you a grand total of $1,000. It's going to cost fuck it. It's going to cost you $750. It's one of the cheapest weapons in the game. I should bring out some more just cheap one, but yes, this is a literal D45 weapon. It's going to hit like a fucking freight train. The unfortunate reality is you're probably going to blow your hand off doing it, and it'll be funny. Now, let's think. The G11 is actually based off the G11 is actually already represented in the KHX-20. Let's see. We need some more ridiculous looking weapons. What's some other? Oh, I know. We need more discount weapons. I know what we need. Yep, it's literally going to be called the discount. It's going to do D21 damage. It's going to be mostly used for flesh enemies. Is move a space. Move into a new zone when firing. Move to a new zone when firing. It's going to have a grand total of 5 shots. It's going to have a range of, we'll say 2, and it's going to be worth $500. Yep, the Ross & Sons discount rifle. Actually, we can probably make that we'll make it D15. Lower the damage a little bit. Let's see, what other more discount guns can we get? Actually, so let's do weird guns. The Remington 870 competition. The Springfield A2 SAS, the Sassy. The Stower machine pistol. Zip guns. The silenced revolver. The Remington E-box rifle. The magazine-fed revolver. We'll call it the the ladies man M30. Well, ladies man revolver. It's going to do D9 damage with a rate of 2. It's going to deal exclusively with flesh enemies. Completely hidden. Easy to hide. It's going to have 6 shots. Yep, it's going to have a range of 0, and it's only going to put you back $400. Probably do one more discount rifle. The C93 Borscht. Oh, sweet Jesus. The Borscht automatic pistol. Oh, I know what we call it. Rafalgo, the Rafalgo handgun. And it's going to do a grand total of, it's going to do D3 damage. It's going to do D3, or it's going to do D15. Actually, no. How do I want to do this? No, we're going to do it's going to do a D11 damage. It's going to have flesh and switch between rifle and handgun mode for better range. And it's going to have, we'll give it 10 shots. It's going to have a range of 0, or it's going to have a range of 2. This is literally a handgun that is also, yes, a Rafalgo handgun. We'll give it $1,000. It's a folding stock handgun. What would be like one final weird, the space gun. Single shot trap gun. What the fuck is a trap gun? Oh, skeet shooting. Though, this does give me an idea. The Hero Space Gun. It's going to do D99 damage against armor targets. Fires a a massive spear, a massive spike at the target. As massive spike at the target. It's going to have a single shot. It's going to have a range of 0. It's going to set you back. It's going to set you back $3,250. Yes, it is going to be a thing called the Hero Space Gun, in which you just fight. It's a fucking harpoon gun. A Piat. Oh, Jesus. One of these tiny things. Little. And then we'll call it the Liberato. We'll call it the Liberato 2. It's going to do D1 damage. It's going to be flesh. Roll. It's going to do, yep, Liberato 2. And let's see, if taken by some... an unaware flesh target. Well, instantly kill an unaware flesh target. Has 1 bullet, 0. And it's going to cost you 1,500. The Liberato 2, baby. It's a one-shot handgun, which literally is designed to run up behind someone and slap them in the back of the head with. Is that anything like the FP? Absolutely not. Is it funnier that way? Yes. Got a Piat. So this is an projected anti-tank. I have an idea. Actually, personal armored infantry mobility device. It's going to be the PAIMD, the PIMED. The PIMED, it's going to be the PIMED Mark II. It's going to do only it's only going to do D33 damage. It's going to be good against armor targets. Target is able to switch to rocket jump mode. Rocket jump, no, propelling themselves upward quickly. Deals full damage. There we go. Am I giving the people what they truly desire? Am I giving them the rocket jump capabilities that they've always wanted? Was Shakespeare's designed? Yes. Did I make a TF2 reference in God's holy land of 2022? Yes. Yes, I did. Welcome to 2022. Don't worry, people still play TF2. And I'm not one of them. So we've got all of these. So we've got all the guns that we need. Some of them are kind of sillier than others. Some of them are a little bit more practical. And that's kind of, I'm okay with that. Some being just strictly more practical than others. I have a strange feeling pretty much anything under about $2,000, $3,000, people are going to use a lot more actively. With some of them, hell, I could actually probably up the cost of a few of these. Yeah. There you go. Well, because you don't want people just getting a rocket launcher immediately, being like, I am immortal. Like, yeah, you're not. But this is like one of the other things that I kind of want to get across is that, like, yes, you can totally, right now, this exact moment, it is cheaper to invest in firearms than it is to invest in actual, you know, in actual things to help you. Being like, hey, you want to buy an actual house? That's expensive. Why don't you buy instead hardcore firearms? Okay, let's do... Weapons of Cruelty. We do this. Okay, let's do... Nope. I'm going to shrink this down to about there. Damage doesn't ever really need to be that big. Damage type can be a little bit smaller. Features is okay. Can we get ammo to be 1? Yeah. Can we get range to be 1? There we go. We get ammo to be 1. Parasonic Snoozefest. Ricochet bullets, scope, melee, liberato, pyramid. Nope, wait, nope. We have to select this. Why won't you... Usually it lets you lock it. I don't know why it's not letting me lock it. Game. God damn it, please. Don't do this to me now. No. Because normally what you can do is that you can lock it, but apparently it doesn't feel like working now, so we're going to have to do it the old way because reasons. Yeah, I don't know why it's not letting me lock it. So what we can do, though, is we can select everything here. Table properties. Weapons of cruelty. Okay. This hand is a work of engineering marvels that allow the agent to successfully complete the operation without problems. Damage indicates how much damage the weapon will do if it strikes an enemy. Damage type indicates how the damage will be inflicted, and if the target will resist it. Features indicate notable features and quirks of the weapon. Ammunition. Period. Ammo is the amount of ammunition in a single clip, in a single magazine, or being fed to the weapon. Range indicates how far the weapon can target, how many zones away the weapon can target. Finally, the cost is how expensive it is for the agent to license the weapon. Each weapon strikes an enemy. After damage, there is the rate of fire, indicated by parentheses. D19. Uh, often reading as DX parentheses Y end quote end parentheses. Actually, I should just do reading as DXY. The rate of fire indicates how many times the weapon can be fired on a targets within the location. Can be fired on targets in the same zone. These can be aimed at the same location at the same target or at multiple targets in the same zone. So when in doubt, just unload. The agent does not need to fire the full amount. Does not need to fire the full amount. Val refused to handle pots, so we did it ourselves. TF2 even beat out the highest quality porn version of itself. Yeah, pretty much. See, I'm just excited for when Overwatch 2 comes out, so I can successfully claim to everyone that I knew it wasn't going to come out. It's great. Mostly because Overwatch 2 is kind of a meme at this point. A big ol' silly meme. That reminds me, switch everything over to fucking Laura. Oh, God. The Batelli Hypernova. An agent is allowed to carry up to two weapons at a time, as well as enough ammunition, as well as two magazines worth. Actually, two full reloads of ammunition for each weapon. Actually, what I should do is nope, still don't mean to do that. I want to. Am I going insane? Did they just remove it or something? Did they? Why would they do that? That was the best fucking new feature they put in. Why? No, come on. There we go. Okay, up to two weapons at a time, as well as two full reloads of ammunition for each weapon. Okay, cool. Let's see. Does it work better if I do this? It works slightly better. Yeah, I think this is gonna work. We'll slap an image right there. The point of 2 is money. They want people to buy the new stuff. And because Overwatch, like, we meme on Overwatch a lot, but Overwatch was an incredibly successful property. It made a lot of fucking money. They just burnt all that money doing stupid shit. And instead of actually, like, delivering content for the game, they instead said, well, everything's here is just fine, so we're just not going to do anything. But games like those live and die off content. And, like, things like TF2 is, like, you don't need a lot of content for TF2 at all, because, well, the community itself makes the content. That's kind of like one of the most beautiful thing. But No, even just adding characters, because like overall there weren't actually like, how do I want to word this? Overwatch was always had like a lot of characters. Don't get me wrong. And here, you know, there was actually a very relevant discuss. This is a very relevant discussion, everybody. I swear. I am very. It is like almost 1 o'clock in the morning. So, and I still have stuff I need to do tonight. So I might call it here very quickly. But no, I didn't mean to click on that. Go away, Lucio. Oh yeah, like here's play Overwatch. So, like, generally speaking, like, looking at all these characters, there aren't actually, like, that many. It's not like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7, 14, 21, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. There's 32 characters here. And now, here's the thing. Most of them do boil down to aim gun and shoot gun. Now, we're going to compare that to Paladins. Here's the thing with Paladins. They have a lot of stupid characters. Trust me, they got a lot of stupid characters. Let's see, there's 3, 4, 5, 6. So that like 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48. We're looking at 54, 50. There's 55 characters effectively in this. And this is a very consistent. You're pretty much guaranteed to get a new character about every couple months. You're going to get a new character. And they're going to be good or fun? No, probably not. They're going to be probably stupid. Like, God, look at this. She's a fucking vampire. This is the stupidest fucking thing ever. But doesn't need to be good. There could have been months with nothing being launched for Overwatch. Nothing at all. And no new maps, no new anything. That's kind of like one of the big issues. Like, to a degree, and they got power creep just because there's so much shit to actually balance. Like TF2, you don't need to balance TF2 at this point. That's kind of the amusing thing. You really don't. Because at the end of the day, you have to balance a very select few characters. You don't have many characters in TF2. However, in like something like what you have to do is you have to make sure like how does Scout fare against all of the other mercenaries? Well, in X, Y, and Z situations, he's doing fine. How does Heavy fare against all of them? With like Overwatch, for example, you have to ask the question: how does Diva, for example, how does Diva fare against every other character in the game? With a certain team composition as well. Like, balance is impossible in Overwatch. So power creep was kind of inevitable. And normally you can just mitigate it. Because, like, things like Paladins, for example, you want to know how they mitigate it? They just make everyone stupid. No one gives a shit about Paladins. You know. Exactly. Because there's actually fewer. Like, that's kind of the interesting thing when it comes down to things like TF2 and a lot of those games that are smaller but more precise is interaction. Like, scout rushing is an art form. And I was decent at scout rushing for a while there. And it was an art form of, like, getting your timings right, being in the exact position, getting your jumps exactly right. This isn't even counting in fighting. Or, you know, like where to go, what weapons everyone's using. This isn't even factoring in that. That was just movement. And because the issue is you have so few things to actually worry about. Hell, I mean, a scout is impressive because he can double jump. That's the big thing about Scout. But he's also far, far more than that. But he just adds a simple tech to most interactions. But then you have to worry about things like, what about Soldier? Rocket jump. No other character in the entirety of TF2 can rocket jump except him. Well, I guess you can count Demo as well, but Demo's Demo. And this is like Demo's another great example. How the fuck do you balance Demo nights versus regular demos versus very particular things? TF2 is incredibly complex because it's had years of people doing it as well as very competitive people really making it go. Exactly. Crossbow spam and everything. I know exactly what you're talking about. Trust me, I ran Crusaders as well. Nothing does beat Crusader's crossbow, and then hitting someone directly in the fucking skull with it on accident. Good sex. Sexu. So yeah, it's kind of like one of those things, like, and then you have the problem of, like, what do you add? A vast majority of, like, Overwatch's actual content are things that it's people who shoot gun. What does this character do? They shoot a gun at somebody else. All of their equipment does usually boil down to shoot gun at other thing. And arguably, that's all TF2 is. Hey, I don't care it doesn't do headshot damage. It felt fucking amazing saving my heavy when I nailed a fucking scout in the face. It was good. It was so good. Don't understand. It's about aesthetics, Ironside. It's about aesthetics. Ooh, let me just... It's also, again, 1 o'clock in the fucking morning, so bear with me here. Okay, we don't need to do any of that anymore. We've got our weapons of cruelty. We've got most of the weapons we need. Now, I have to ask myself, do I worry about biocybertronics tonight? Do I worry about biocybertronics tonight? Or what do I need to do? Let's ask ourselves this. What needs to actually be done? We've got weapons and armor. We've got most of the phase system. I can write detox tomorrow. I can... I guess we're going to Friday, though. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Friday. Because I've been streaming for 2.5 hours. Friday is going to be a Notepad Must Die. And the goal is we're going to not only clean up the book, just do all the little things that need to get cleaning. I'm also going to add in all the biocybertronics, write the detox system, kind of finish any notes from the handler's notebook to kind of give like some sample enemies. It's mostly just going to be cleaning on Friday. So, yeah, I'm going to call it there. Godspeed, good luck, I'm tired, go away now.